Hi everyone, this video is a review of the steps of the quadratic formula. So the first thing to know is that the quadratic formula is used with quadratic equations. An equation that has a degree, a highest exponent of 2. So you'll always see that type of equation when we're using the quadratic formula. And this formula that you'll see was derived by mathematicians as a way to find the zeros. So that is what we're working towards by hand without a calculator. How do we find the zeros? Okay, the first step is to identify A, B, and C of your equation. A is going to be the number, the coefficient in front of the x squared. So here we have 2x squared minus 13x minus 24. A is going to be 2. B is going to be the number, the coefficient in front of the x. Here we have negative 13. And C is going to be our constant, negative 24. A, B, and C should just be numbers. There's no letters. We're not using x's here at all. Okay, once we have our A, B, and C, we're going to write out the quadratic formula. This is the full quadratic formula. It's given to you on the reference sheet. X equals, x are 0, our values for 0 equal negative b. This means plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 multiplied by a multiplied by c all over 2 multiplied by a. So we are going to start substituting these values in for these letters, and we'll end up with a formula that has no letters in it. The idea is to get it all to numbers so that we actually solve what this is equal to. So instead of this first b, I'm going to keep the negative sign and put in my negative 13 for b. So the negative was part of the formula, and my b is also negative. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Plus or minus another negative 13. Then I have minus 4 that stays the same for all of them. A, instead of a, I'm going to write 2. Instead of c, I'm going to write negative 24. And I have one more letter down here. Instead of this a, I'm going to write 2. So this is called substitution. Now, before we go even further than this, I want to compare this substitution with this one and just make a note that in this case, student 2 is correct. If you're looking at the difference here, you'll notice that student 1 forgot parentheses. Why is this a big deal? Well, this denominator here looks like 22, when really it should be 2 multiplied by 2, which is 4. So without parentheses, all of our values become incorrect. So we want to make sure that we always substitute with parentheses. This is big. If you can do this, you are set up for success. Okay, so we're going to take this to our graphic organizer. Here are the steps laid out. We write out our quadratic formula and we substitute with the parentheses. So even though the formula has minus b, negative b, I'm still going to put my negative value in here because the first subtraction sign was part of the formula, and then I'm substituting in a negative number. So just make sure if your a, b, and c are negative that you're putting that in parentheses. Okay. So now we substituted, and we are going to simplify, actually do some of this math to get this complicated looking formula down to something a lot more simple. The first part we're going to simplify is something that I call the start. The start is the value right here in the front of our plus or minus. And I have negative 13. That's just negative becomes just a positive 13. So already it's becoming more simple. The second thing I'm going to simplify is what we call under the radical. Under the square root is this whole section. So I'm not going to type the square root into the calculator. Instead, I'm going to start typing at parentheses, negative 13, close the parentheses squared, minus 4, parentheses 2, parentheses negative 24. You can try this out in your calculator. We're going to reduce this to one value, and that value is going to be 361. If you tried it out, you should get 361. We still have our plus or minus and our square root. We're just simplifying everything under the radical down to one number. And the last part we're going to simplify is the denominator, the lower part of our fraction. We have 2 multiplied by 2, and I can write that as 4. 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. So that's the simplifying process. You're going to try this process for each question on your paper. And refer to this video if you need more support.